Good morning, class. Today we are going to discuss Chapter 1. Chapter 1 deals with the general provisions. The first article in Chapter 1 is Article 1767. Article 1767 defines a contract of partnership. It states that a contract of partnership is one where two or more persons bind themselves to contribute money, property, or industry to a common fund with the intention of dividing the profits amongst themselves. Technically, the first paragraph of Article 1767 defines a business partnership. Second paragraph states that two or more persons may also form a partnership for the exercise of a profession. Now, a partnership is a juridical person, meaning its personality is distinct and separate from its owner or from the partners. As early as first year, you were taught of the concept of the entity theory wherein the business is separate from its owner that is also applied in the contract of partnership. The partnership being a juridical person, number one, may acquire and possess properties of all kinds. It could also incur obligations. It could bring also civil or criminal actions in conformity with the laws and regulations of the partnership. Now, what are the elements of a partnership? Foremost, there should be meeting of mind. Take note that partnership is perfected by mere consent. Meeting of mind that parties contribute money, property, or industry and pool this into a common fund with the intention of dividing the profits and losses amongst themselves. Now, what are the characteristics of a contract of partnership? Take note that there are 7 characteristics of a contract of partnership. First, it's consensual. Ibig sabihin, partnership is perfected by mere consent. Second, the contract of partnership is also commutative. What do you mean by commutative? Commutative presupposes that the contribution of one partner is almost equivalent to the contribution of another. Third characteristic is principal, meaning it in itself is the agreement. There is no necessity for you to create an antecedent agreement before the contract of partnership will be born. Number 4 is bilateral. If you go back to the definition of the partnership, it states there that the contract of partnership is an agreement between two or more persons. By bilateral, we mean multiplicity of persons involved. Number 5, a contract of partnership is also onerous. What is the opposite of onerous? It's gratuitous. When you say onerous, something is expected in return. I contribute so that you contribute. Unlike in gratuitous, wherein the exchange is just mere love and affection. A contract of partnership is also nominate, meaning it has a name of its own. What is the name? Contract of partnership. And also it is preparatory. Preparatory to what? Preparatory to operating a business and earning. Now, what are the highlights of a contract of partnership? Well, the contract of partnership is contractual in character. If I may remind you in your lesson in obligations and contracts, you say that contracts arises when a contract arises when there is a meeting of minds of one person regarding a certain object. Number 2, a contract of partnership as also a juridical personality, which I have defined a while ago. And number 3, which is notable in the contract of partnership, is the concept of delectus personae. What is this concept of delectus personae? That is the concept that you could not be associated with people that you do not like. So that is the third concept. Fourth concept is mutual agency. By the contract of partnership, every partner is an agent of the partnership. If you will review my lecture notes, there are examples there to manifest mutual agency in the contract of partnership. A contract of partnership, part of mutual agency is an unlimited liability, which we are going to discuss in our future lessons. Number 5 is that the personal liability of partners for partnership's debt. So, a partner may be liable for the partnership's debt. Now, how to form a contract of partnership? Are there any formal requisites? The answer is no. Because in the contract of partnership, it is perfected by mere consent. So if you agree and I agree that we form a partnership, the life of the partnership begins. There is an exception though. First exception that is covered by Article 1771. where an immovable property or a real right is contributed. Now, if an immovable property or a real right is contributed in a contract of partnership, there should be, number one, it should be executed in a public instrument. Number two, there should be an inventory of property. No? Otherwise, the partnership agreement is void. So let me reiterate. In a contract of partnership, it's perfected by mere consent. If you agree and I agree, there is no need really for us to put it in writing. The contract of partnership is consensual and therefore it is perfected by mere consent. Exception, first, if an immovable property is contributed, what are the requirements? First, it should be in public instrument, and number two, there should be an inventory of the property that is attached in the partnership's agreement. Second exception, when the contract falls under the coverage of the statute of fraud. Now, take note of that. We have studied statute of fraud in contracts, di ba? So under the principle of under the statutes of fraud, it requires that some transactions or some agreements need to be reduced in writing, otherwise it is unenforceable. Third, when the capital contribution is 3,000 or more in money or property, it should be in public instrument, no? And it must be registered with the SEC. Okay, review. Now, when you want to establish a contract of partnership, what are the necessary forms? Answer, none. A contract of partnership is consensual, therefore it is perfected by mere consent. Except, first, if a real property is contributed in the contract of partnership, then it should be in public instrument and the inventory of such property should be attached in the partnership's agreement. That is the first. Second, when the contract falls under the statute of fraud. Last year, we have discussed statute of fraud. Statute of fraud simply states that some agreements need to be in writing, otherwise it's unenforceable. And number three, where the capital is 3,000 or more in money or property, it should be in public instrument and it should be registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. In your lecture notes, I have distinguished partnership from co-ownership. You go over it, huh? Well, the difference between partnership and co-ownership. The difference between particular partnership from joint venture. I have also, there is also a table as to their difference. Now, usually in a business consultation, clients come to us, nagtatanong kung ano ang mas maganda, partnership or corporation. In your lecture notes also, I have discussed what are the weaknesses of a partnership. Okay? As well as the rules to determine the existence of the partnership. So, nandun yan siya, no? Nandun yan siya. So, go over your notes, no? Go over your notes. Follow the course outline. Go over your notes. And if you have any questions for Chapter 1, call my attention. No? Call my attention. You could write your comment below so that it would be easier for us to keep track of the questions and issues that you want to raise or the matters that you want to raise. So this is Chapter 1. I am expecting comments down below. You write what are your questions, what are your point of clarification so that we can answer. No? And you could also raise these questions in a consultative discussion. So the next video would be for Chapter 2. Happy reading!